Alright, I believe I am properly audible and visible. So, welcome. Today is 29th of July 2025 and it's 5:26 in the early morning. So, this is going to be the first session of the second day and let's get started with this. So, today I am going to start the morning with a sectional mock test of English because I have yet to complete it properly, and because of that, let's start. Let's this is going to be a long passage, so I'm going to do it later on. This is going to be the fill in the blanks, I think. Hmm. Alright, let's do this. Through a sustained program of investment and greater dash on the application of modern technologies and greater trust reach कौन सा होगा? It has been possible to raise the all India production of coal to 716.8 million tons in 2020-21. Dicey, Trust and Dicey. What is Dicey? I have yet to check it. A sustained program of investment and greater Dicey and greater trust push on the application. Dicey क्या होता है? DICE बात DICE Dicey precarious degree of risk total risk. I think both should be the correct answer. Anyways, let's move on. Coal India Limited and its subsidiaries accounted for mm, accounted 590 million tons as compared to production in 2020. Hmm. Saying negative growth. Marketing division of Coal India Limited coordinates marketing activities for its subsidiaries. Coal India Limited has set up regional sales office and sub-sales office at selected places in the country to dash to the needs to put up with the needs of the consuming sectors to put up with the needs of consuming sectors. Okay, to a world has been highlighted. So the same meaning as the highlighted word. But to a sustained program, it the past humanity has been able to sustain both wars and progress. The court sustained the motion. It's hard to sustain interest for such a long time. ANC होना चाहिए, I think. Wait a minute. E वाला है ना ये तो. Another still mainly to dash between the requirement and indigenous. Mainly to bridge the gap. होगा ये वाला. ये वाला होगा D. And to cater. To cater to the needs. Whether correctly as okay, spelling detection. China locked down a city for of 5 million people a day after detect, detecting Omicron. Central Henan province its second shutdown as in Myanmar, underscoring the nation's commitment to eliminating transmissible डिस्टर्ब लेवल प्लेइंग होता है, लेवल प्लेइंग नहीं होता. Statement which has been laid before the parliament. Amid the ongoing unrest in Kazakhstan, early on 9th January, Pope Francis had appealed conflict, saying he was pained by the reports of that. He pained क्या होता है? British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is slated to face House of Commons as pressure and widespread condemnation from Tory MPs as well as public fury. BRESCH होता है. The consequence, okay. Hmm. The research team has made significant progress in the field of artificial intelligence, which will Mhm. To identify the proper sequence of what to sentence to make given, hmm, which will revolutionize how we interact with technology. Experts suggest that this breakthrough could lead to the creation of machines and emotions and empathy. बी का डी के साथ होगा. Government announced several measures to curb inflation. Several measures to curb नहीं several क्या several necessary several outright to curb inflation, leading an increase in fuel price which has sparked public necessity across the country. Economists believe that these measures are immediate. These measures are immediate are necessary. सी का डी के साथ ABCD. हाँ सही है. ए का बी सी का डी. द न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी एम्स टू ब्रिज द गैप. सही है. with equal opportunities for training education for effective quality education. And teachers are also conscious regarding lack of proper training. B का सी के साथ. Mm, either in the error if any other part except the part which has been highlighted the letter corresponding to. Okay, highlighted word वाला में error नहीं है. However, according to the country's immigration rules, asylum request can only be processed once a person is in the UK and Hasina does not hold a visa for traveling there. Can only be processed once the person होगा ना. सही है. For viewers, the terror lay in never being 100% certain, never being 100% certain that what they were watching on screen was not, in fact, play straight from the camera that had been recovered from the woods where the student was. For viewers, the terror lay in never being 100%, never being 100% certain that no certain that what they were watching on screen was not in fact play straight from the camera that had been recovered. Never being 100% certain, never being 100% certain, never being 100% पता नहीं ए कहाँ से आ जाएगा. Wrong हो भी सकता है, पता नहीं. Let's see. New drug for weight loss, Alzheimer's or cancer that approved have been approved by top regulator that have regulated abroad but are waiting approval in India will no longer be required to undergo clinical trials. In August, in its August meeting, the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee decided to keep interest rate unchanged and maintain its stance of remaining focused on withdrawal accommodation on its August meeting. In his comments, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das noted that policy must continue to be disinflationary and remain focused on aligning inflation with the target. हाँ, 10 मिनट बाकी है बस. In each of the question passages may given which is either situationally based or discovery. Mark the correct answer. Hmm. ठीक है. In the blank. Millions of Indians are celebrating Christmas on 25th. A note for the second year in a row. To be क्या है such kind of behavior can be termed as to be brush. He does not brush his teeth before bed. He throws a tantrum if his parents force him to brush his teeth. One day, his mother put forward a deal that if he brushes his teeth regularly, to Park Avenue, Toby follows this and brushes his teeth every night. Positive, negative, conditioning आ गया. Connecting connectors. The scientist conducted numerous experiments over the past year. Thus, he made significant breakthroughs in understanding the disease molecules. The central bank increased their interest rate last year. Consequently, borrowing has become more expensive for businesses and individuals. Government implemented stricter traffic regulation last month. As a result, many accidents have significantly decreased. Okay. Digital banking has significantly reduced the need for physical visit. Therefore, many customers. Hmm. अरे ये तो रही arrangement है. A newly discovered planet could provide a window in Earth's future billions years of now. In around 1 billion, our sun will begin a long transition into becoming a white dwarf. Initially, it will swell to a red giant cosmic, consuming Mercury and Venus during its expansion. As it swells, the sun will start losing mass, which will cause the planet to migrate outwards, meaning Earth could outrun the growing star. Mm. Newly discovered planet could provide a window into Earth's future billions of years from now. The planet is 4,000 light years away in the constellation of Sagittarius and has around the same mass as Earth, but its orbit is wide dwarf twice as far out. The planet is 4,000 light years away in the constellation. Mm. But its orbits its white dwarf star twice as far out initially itself. Our sun will begin the long transition into becoming a white dwarf. Any discovered planet could provide. Our sun will lose mass, which will cause the planet to migrate outwards, meaning Earth could outrun the growing star. ठीक है, a newly discovered planet का होगा E B C होना चाहिए शायद. देखते हैं गलत हुआ तो गलत हुआ. Ubiquitous. The company's new marketing strategy aims to achieve ubiquitous sales in the next quarter. The company's new product aims to be ubiquitous in market, reaching every corner of the globe. Today's incorrect and proposed. Digital smart as ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. Only one. Disinterested. The judge remained disinterested through the trial, ensuring impartiality in the courtroom. Despite being disinterested, John actively campaigned for this. The disinterested advice from the financial advisor. Myriad. The project manager faced myriad challenges while coordinating. Mira has a myriad of interest. The couple enjoyed a myriad evening stroll. Myriad evening stroll. कितना नंबर था वो 39 वाला. हाँ सही है. Diligent. Despite his diligent efforts, सही है. Due to winter weather, the animals remained diligent in their dance. नहीं, second वाला गलत है. After having the he felt diligent and 2 and 3 both. No, I have to complete the air pollution closely tied to biodiversity loss. नहीं, yesterday. Yesterday highlighted in categories climate biodiversity loss was the review paper published by the journal Nature considers existing research to show how biodiversity loss accelerates the health impact of a warming planet. With widespread implication in pediatric health, biodiversity has been seen a significant decline with monitored wildlife populations dropping by 69% globally. This decline, climatic dynamics, disability affecting children. The review identifies several ways biodiversity loss impacts children health, in this including reduced microbiome is not mentioned impact of children health. Hmm. Children health, including reduced microbial diversity, fewer green spaces, increased risk of heat waves, flooding, vector-borne disease, and air pollution. This mental health, prevalence of allergy, induced vector-borne, higher rates of premature birth, microbial bacteria, fungi such as exposure, immune system regulation high, microbes strengthen, however, weakens the protective better mental health, however, premature birth, reduced green spaces, better immune system, increased prevalence of allergy and inflammatory disease, increase रिड्यूस करता है ना. हाँ, एक्सेस टू ग्रीन सिस्टमेटिक cognitive development better high the preterm birth due to reduced skin space. Effect reduced green spaces नहीं होगा. हाँ, each of the statement is true based on biodiversity loss does not impact mental health. Is true. Air pollution impact 2 billion children globally. Hmm. How does reduced microbial diversity impact health? It increases it decreases vector-borne diseases. Yes. Will link studies exposed to diverse microbes, strengthen children's immune system, reducing allergies and inflammatory. Decline in reduce weakens immune system, reduces proximity, it increases exposure to vector-borne diseases. यही होगा vector-borne disease ही होगा. What does the passage say about the role of they are linked to developmental and cognitive development? सही है. According to which biodiversity is essential for medical innovation? It provides natural reservoir. It is like exacerbated. Hey, last लगाया अच्छा से गलत होगा. अरे 11 गलत हो गया. अरे इतना ज्यादा गलत हो गया है. ऐसा कैसे होगा? ओ माय गॉड. 38 अटेम्प्ट किया था. 11 गलत ही हो गया. 27 करेक्ट हुआ है. 24.25 स्कोर है. कैसे होगा 24 अगर इसमें हुआ? मैथ में हार्डली 10. रीजनिंग में 10, 20, 30, 40, 44 हो रहा है. It is not possible to clear the exam with the 44 marks. At least 30 तक तो जाना पड़ेगा. अदरवाइज कैसे होगा? ये वाला गलत हो गया ना. It weakens immune system regulation. It provides natural resource development modern medicines. Mitigates, exacerbates, mitigates. Vulnerability, सही है. All are correct. Pain, वही तो सच्चे हम. ए में नहीं है, सी में गलत है. Straight from the camera that has been playing होगा. That had been played, that had been back, played straight from the camera, played. Got it. कितना है? 23. करेक्ट है. 24 क्या है? नो एरर. एरर ही नहीं है. पता है कहाँ से एरर ढूंढ के दिया हम, पता नहीं. इसमें डी होगा. On aligning inflation in the target to the target. To the target नहीं दिए हम, सी क्यों दिए? अरे मैंने तो डी दिया था. अलाइनिंग इन्फ्लेशन टू द टारगेट. अरे मार्किंग गलत कर दिए. ये वाला सही था. ये वाला जो है, ये वाला सही था. डी मैंने करेक्ट सोचा था, लेकिन वही गलत हो गया. क्रिसमस ऑन सोम्बर. सोम्ब्रे क्या होता है? Protest the year of Christmas will not likely be offended due to COVID and ANC does not feel that. Indian are grammatically wrong. अच्छा. डी. संडे नहीं होगा. ब्राइट, चेयरफुल नहीं होगा. बी कैसे हो रहा है? Protest the idea of year of Christmas will not be like other year due to COVID. Sombre. Positive reinforcement. अच्छा. 38 का क्या गलत हुआ? सेकेंड. अच्छा, अनबायस्ड होगा मतलब. गॉट इट. ये चीज समझ में आ गया है. तो इंग्लिश का ये चीज़ कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं, रुको। Alright, let's start with the editorial for today's, because it is 29 July. Today is 29 July. So the first is culture of risk on safety and the mass gathering. And wait, a day apart, two pilgrimages in North India have endured chaos. 8 people died on the steep stairway to Haridwar Mansa Devi Shrine on 27th of July 2025 after a rumor spread that a snap power line was live. The next day, a Avsaneshwar temple in Barabanki monkeys reportedly damaged an overhead cable, sparking panic that killed two persons. Both incidents were triggered by fears of electrocution. Such hazards at temple are not new. Makeshift wiring, draped over stalls, and overloaded transformers are common sight at melas. However, neither shrine had an automatic power cutoff or a public address system capable of debunking misinformation. The Haridwar probe almost will almost certainly reiterate older recommendations such as underground cabling and real-time voltage monitoring. However, the threat is incidental except for two major stampede in recent memory in Bengaluru and Hyderabad. All such tragedies have occurred at religious mass gathering or in the course of attending them. They occur despite multiple guidelines and court orders due to authorities' collective desensitization to risk. On paper, Uttarakhand has a crowd management manual for the Char Dham, and the NDMA's guidelines say that every event must calculate carrying capacity, stagger entry, maintain redundant escape routes, and hold drills. Yet at Mansa Devi, the stairway that doubles as entry and exit was used without scheduling, and the only alternative route had much lower carrying capacity. In Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh, the no response centered on compensation rather than structural reform. The NDMA norms need to be legally binding with severe consequences for persons, enterprises, or businesses that fail to protect lives. At present, state choose provisions for the norms, and temple trusts often treat them as optional because pilgrim facilities fall under charitable exemptions in many building codes. Routine darshan does not require safety certification even when daily footfall exceeds that of a sports stadium. However, sports stadium. States also bank on ad hoc volunteers and under-trained guards to manage surges. However, annual drills mandated under the Disaster Management Act are rarely held for regular worship, while funds earmarked for permanent infrastructure are often diverted to festivals. The time has come to eradicate the notion of a simply planned or cheap mass gathering event, religious or otherwise. When footfall exceeds a preset threshold, a certain incident command structure must come into effect. Authorities must deploy overhead lidar and AI cameras to calculate crowd density with real-time alerts to help divert or throttle traffic. Finally, states must ensure that venues publish capacity chart at entrances, conduct a live stream quarterly drills to normalize a safety culture, and certify volunteers in basic life support and crowd psychology. Hmm, I got this lesson from the past on the Chola legacy. The visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Tamil Nadu had a subtle political message. In his address at the valediction of the annual Adi Thiruvatharai festival at Gangaikonda, Cholapuram, to mark the birth anniversary of Rajendra Chola I. He focused on the legacy of the Chola Emperor and his father Rajaraja Chola I to underline that contemporary India would be as enterprising as ancient India under the imperial Cholas in expanding trade and in guarding India's sovereignty. The festival was also organized to commemorate 1000 years of maritime expedition of Rajendra Chola to Southeast Asia as well as the construction of the iconic temple, a World Heritage Site. The grandeur of the Chola dynasty is fascinating to recall, but there are other mundane facets of the Chola rule which are of modern relevance. Its water management, tax and land revenue collection, and democratic processes. In creating infrastructure, especially the Chola had many lessons. Chola hold many lessons. In recent months, there has have been fatal accidents, including civic structures. The resilience of the Bri- Brihadisavara temples, which have stood tall for over 1000 years, could provide learnings. Studies show that the southern peninsula was the epicenter of several earthquakes in the last 200 odd years. Archaeologists are of the view that the superstructure of the temples holds the key to modern building techniques when it comes to seismic resilience. A close study of the temples for structural stability can be of immense value in the contemporary context. Apart from focusing on the heritage and culture of the Cholas, India could try and replicate their success in administration. Management of water resources, especially, could be an important learning. The Kaveri Delta, where Gangaikonda Cholapuram is located, may experience flood with a large volume of water draining into the sea without being harnessed for periods of scarcity. More than 30 years have passed since the adoption of the 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution, but a large number of local bodies, even in the major cities, are functioning without elected representatives. The celebration is an opportunity for an analysis of the functioning of grassroots level democratic bodies. Mr. Modi announced that the center would install the statue of Chola and Rajendra Chola uh, to remind the country of its historical consciousness. But this exercise would have greater purpose if it reminds the country of the administrative acumen of the Cholas and nudges those in governance to address many of the chronic flaws and problems. रीडिंग हो गया. Um, यार ये चीटी लोग एंड इतना ज़्यादा हो गया है. कहाँ से आ रहा है पता नहीं चल रहा. Central Minister Audit says what replacement was necessary. भारत में direction. What is similar in the meaning if none of the option convey the correct meaning? Harsh and ruthless, cold-hearted, relentless. Trump has mounted relentless attacks. Point. There's no point in making it look any worse. The witness pointed her finger. The witness pointed her finger at the defendant and accused him of stealing her purse. There's no point in making it look any worse than this. In this point, in this area, extract. कितना टाइम बचा है 3 मिनट बचा extract. The police used torture to extract information. हाँ ठीक है ऐसे कंपनी appear we were able to form a pretty extract estimate. Exact होता है ना extract कैसे होगा? Well difficult to estimate exact number both 2 and 3. Appropriate वाला है ये. Appointed situation that we have seen since the last 6 months has been a result of the CD combination of vaccines, combination of different COVID-19 B से COVID-19 vaccine BA may be an important step in generating immune protection. BAD, accessibility, generating combination of different COVID-19 vaccines may be an important in generating accessibility protection access BA generating wider protection होगा. While the enormous British empires she once while the once presided over shrank, her symbolic influence only seemed to grow. While the hmm, there is ये वाला तो किया हुआ था मोस्ट प्रोबेबली इसीलिए शायद चार गलत नो करेक्ट. रिलेंटलेस होगा अच्छा. डिमिनिश डिमिनिश नो चेंज वही तो नो चेंज ना मेरे को लग रहा था क्योंकि कुछ करेक्ट कुछ रॉन्ग तो मिल ही नहीं रहा है इसमें तो इसीलिए मोस्ट प्रोबेबली इसीलिए ये वाला का क्या था rapidly. With the aging Winston Churchill, the first of the 15 British Prime Minister to serve under her, at her side, she began to rapidly reinvent the institution. Huh? Uprooted trees sprawled their branches in ghastly fashion over streets and houses, flattening them and bodies of men and women in after the ghostly disaster. The detectives were courteous and never showed hint. He remembered a conversation he had with AD. Sorry. The brain. नहीं, they found out एक अस्सी. अरे ये लास्ट वाला सब इजी था एकदम. अरे रे. Without anything being openly said, the spinster remained the and the daughter had sacrificed her life to care. The fact remained that the daughter had sacrificed her life to care of the mother and she had become a spinster. For that reason, spinster क्या होता है? Unmarried woman. अच्छा, अनमेरिड मैन को क्या बोलता है? बैचलर. तो ये वाला समझ में आ गया. व्हाट इज सच का. इंग्लिश को इंग्लिश को और क्या करे. इसमें तो 20 क्वेश्चन था ना. ठीक है, तो फिर इंग्लिश के लिए इतना ही रखते हैं, ज़्यादा और क्या ही करेगा ना. इंग्लिश का एक सेक्शन है, मॉक दे दिया, बाद में फिर देंगे. अभी सुबह के लिए हो गया. अभी कुछ खा लेते हैं, भूख लग रहा है जोर से एकदम. चलो, पहला सेशन इतना में ही रखते हैं अभी के लिए. बाद में देखते हैं थोड़ा देर बाद.